Over the years, I've learned about the many strengths and weaknesses of Mazda's world's best-selling sports car in the best way that I know, at a racetrack. Here's my guide on getting started with track days. It really is quite easy. G'day and welcome to my ultimate guide to getting started with track days. And while this guide is mostly applicable to those of you watching from Australia, this is generally advice that is perfectly suitable for any car, any track, any person, anywhere in the world. But let's get straight into it. Now first up, before you even start thinking about heading to a track event, we need to get some paperwork in order. The most important part of that is the CAMS license. CAMS being the Confederation of Australian Motorsport, they are kind of the key governing body for motorsport here in Australia. The license that most people get for normal club level track days is the speed license, formerly known as an L2S license. They're usually around $110 per year. Really easy to get. Head to the CAMS website, cams.com.au, head up to registration, punch all your details in, they mail one out to you once you send them money. To go with your license, you'll need a car club membership. These are widely available for many CAMS affiliated car clubs. You can find a list of CAMS affiliated car clubs on the CAMS website. I'll also include a link below. I personally am with the MX5 Club of Victoria. The price for membership is generally somewhere between $50 and $100 per year. It just depends on what the club wants to charge you. But look at clubs that suit your vehicle. So perhaps if you're like an MX5 like me, you want to join the MX5 club. Perhaps you've got an 86, you can join the 86 club. Perhaps you've got a Honda and there's a Honda club. Perhaps you like a particular racetrack. Often certain tracks have clubs centered around a track. So for example, Phillip Island have the PIARC club. So there are many options out there. You can find the list in the link below. Once you've got your paperwork in order, you need to get your car in order also. There are a few fairly basic but kind of obvious things that are fundamental before you can head on track. The rules stipulate you must have a 1 kilogram fire extinguisher in your cabin that is accessible to the driver. They're about $30 and they last about 3 years. They have to be stamped with a expiration date and you cannot use them beyond that date. As you'll see, I like to mark mine with the date in really clear, bold text because I often forget, and you go to an event and you find out, oh shit, my extinguisher's run out of date, and the scrutineers won't like you. So take care to keep an eye on the stamping on your fire extinguisher. Also, you'll need a blue triangle indicating the location of the battery in the vehicle or a kill switch for that battery. These are like a $5 thing off eBay, $5, $10 just for a sticker. You can even make one yourself. It doesn't have to be anything exotic, super simple. It needs to be 150 millimeters in size, really easy to make yourself or cheap to buy. They just need to mark where the battery is located, and critically, just make sure your car's in good nick. Check your oil, check your coolant, check your brake level, check your fluids, check it all. Give the car a once over, make sure there's no leaks, give everything a clean. You don't want to turn up at the track and end up with a dud car. And the last thing, and probably the most important, is personal safety. You cannot turn up at the track in some sandals or thongs and think you're going to go head out on track. Not a chance. You need a proper helmet that meets Australian standards. You need non-flammable clothing from wrist to ankle. That means no t-shirts, no shorts. Non-flammable means don't come in some sort of parachute pants. They need to be generally just jeans. Turn up in jeans and you'll be fine. You don't need a race suit. Race suits are fancy and they're nice and they do have fireproofing to kind of keep you safe, but they are kind of next tier up. So don't feel pressured to have to buy a $500, $600, $700, $800 race suit. As long as you've got cotton clothing, something acceptable, that's not drapey and not going to get you all caught up, and it's from wrist to ankle, right up to the neck, then you're fine. So you've got your licenses in order, your car's all prepped. What's next? It's time to find a track event to attend. I always think it's a good idea to find an event that suits your car. Perhaps consider going along with your car club or go along with some friends that already know how to do these things. It always makes life easier. But there are ways, if you're a complete noob and you've got no friends, there are ways to find events. CAMS have a list of events on their website. Again, I'll list a link below on that one. Also, just have a look at your car clubs. Their websites, often they have calendars of events, and you want to find open multi-club events that they've got available. Generally, you can just sign up on their website, punch your details in, and away you go. For those of you in Victoria, I also have a list of track days that I try to maintain on my own website just for everyone to have a browse of, really. Try and keep track for myself. But have a look at the WRX website, have a look at Maserati Club, Porsche Club, BMW Club, Alfa Romeo Club, MX5 clubs. Often these clubs all have calendars detailing track events. It's really not too hard to find an event. Also, there are groups now on Facebook that are starting to coordinate events using Facebook as that sort of distribution of information. Now that you've found an event that you think might appeal to you, it's time to try and enter. Generally, a car club that is organising the event will have some sort of entry form stipulating a whole heap of information, some rules, some bits and pieces. You need to punch in all your details, sign away, and send them some money. Different tracks generally attract different prices. The more prestigious tracks usually cost a little bit more, such as Phillip Island, and similarly, different car clubs will often see different pricing. Again, more prestigious clubs like, say, the Maserati Club might be a bit more expensive than, say, the MX5 Club. That said, the process is generally the same. You provide a bunch of information about you, sign away your life, send them some money, and usually your number is on the list. There are a few things to keep in mind. Not every club is the same. Payment methods can vary. Most clubs will accept credit card payment, but not always. Some clubs still living in the dark ages and they require a check or money order, something weird like that. But yeah, really most clubs nowadays you can just pay by card or PayPal. Generally, once you've either sent off a form via email or through their website, they'll send you back some sort of confirmation to let you know, hey, you're on the list. Hey, so you've entered your first event. You've paid your $200 to $300 entry fee, and you've gotten up at the crack of dawn and gotten out to the track super early. But you can't just go start driving on the circuit. There are a few things you need to consider before you start pumping out lap times. Firstly, you'll need to sign on with the event organisers. That usually involves them citing your CAMS license and your car club membership to verify that all your paperwork is in order. You may need to pay some extra fees or things. You may need to pick up a Dorian timer. You may need to pick up car numbers for your vehicle so that they can identify your vehicle. It all depends on the track event. Exactly where this sign-on occurs varies from track to track and club to club. Usually there's some sort of timing tower or main office where everyone goes to. If you don't know where to go, ask someone. Someone there will tell you very quickly. Just say, hey, where do I sign on? Once you've signed on, it's time to get your car prepared and all cleaned up. And you might be thinking, clean my car? And no, I don't mean get out a mop and bucket. I mean, clean it out of any unnecessary items. That means a completely empty glove box, nothing spare in the trunk or boot, no spare wheels. Take it all out and set it aside. You want the car in track spec. Get everything unnecessary out of the car. You don't want any loose items at all. From there, you'll need to take the car to get scrutineered or checked. Generally, this is done at some sort of scrutineering bay. It varies again from track to track and club to club. But they'll go over your vehicle, make sure it's safe and secure and track suitable. They don't want to see any loose wheel nuts. They don't want to see any loose bits and pieces in the car. They want to also sight your helmet and make sure that it meets Australian spec, and they'll also want to check your fire extinguisher to make sure that is in date. Generally, once scrutineering is complete, they'll sign off your vehicle, chuck a sticker on your car, maybe make sure that your car numbers are everything are in order, and then essentially your car's all good to go. You just need to now wait for your turn to get called out to the circuit. But again, one more thing before we can go out on track. Almost every event will have a driver's briefing. As on-track events usually start around 9 AM, the driver's briefing is generally from around 8:30, 8:45, somewhere around that time. They'll go through safety of the circuit, flaggies, where you can come on and off the track, things like who's running the day, where the timing tower is, where your pits are, where you're permitted to refuel, some of the obvious safety stuff that all drivers need to know. You should already know your flags. You should know what a black, red, green and checkered flag mean, but they may go through that anyway just to give you a refresher. And lastly, it's finally here. We can head out on track. Generally, cars are grouped together by a number or colour. Often that's sorted in lap time, predicted lap time, or the previous lap time you may have set at that track. So for example, you turn up in an MX5 at Phillip Island and you think you're going to do about a 2-minute lap time. They'll put you with a bunch of other 2-minute-ish lapped cars so that when you're out on track, you're not stepping over a car that can do a minute 35. It just makes life easier for everyone. Groups vary depending on the circuit from somewhere between 10 and 20 cars. They'll generally call you up 5 to 10 minutes before the session starts to get you queued up and ready to go. That's a good time to warm up your car, get everything nice and toasty, get yourself strapped in, tighten down your belts, chuck on your helmet, make sure it's all ready to go. This is also a good time to start your GoPros and things, and then just psych yourself up a little bit, but try and keep calm. Then, once the track is clear, you'll be waved out onto the circuit. Move up to speed safely, don't go doing any skids as you head out of the pits onto the circuit, and just enjoy. Start to do some laps, do your thing, build up your confidence, and over time you'll start to build up a quicker lap time. Then it's a matter of doing your thing until your checkered flag is waved and it's time to come in. Head back into the circuit at a safe but acceptable speed. When you're on track, don't go too slow, but when you come into the pits, don't go too fast. You don't want to piss the people off that are running the day by hooning into the pits. They'll probably send you home early. Now, as you come back into the pits and head towards your garage, take a moment to not jam on the brakes, don't rip the handbrake, just ease the car back to your garage so that you don't hurt the thing. Pull up and chuck the car in gear and shut it off, don't pull the handbrake. This is where you can get out, check your tyre pressures, give the car a once over, maybe double check your wheel nuts, double check your brake fluid, make sure that nothing's gone wrong, have a quick look under the bonnet, check your oil, and then brag with your mates about the lap time you achieved. This is when you can have the fun and tell them how much better you are than they are. Congratulations, you did it. What can I say other than I hope it was everything that you expected. The best part of the day is when you get to go home with your car all safe and sound and everything is all still attached to one another. And perhaps you got yourself a best lap time as well. And lastly, some additional words of wisdom. And now, while you already have all the information you need to get out on track, there are a few little extra things that I think that make the experience a little bit more satisfying or more comfortable. Firstly, some additional safety gear. And the most critical, I think, is a safety harness. It just keeps you attached to the car much more securely than a standard lap belt from your vehicle's manufacturer. And on top of that is a roll bar of some form, particularly if you're running an open top or soft top vehicle, as a lot of track event organisers are now requiring a roll bar even if you run with a hard top attached to your convertible vehicle. Some of the less common things you might want to bring along with you, and first of all would be GoPros and cameras so that you can take some videos and photos of your vehicle. Some food and snacks so that you keep your tummy full of food and keep yourself satisfied, and also save a penny, because while many tracks offer facilities in the forms of tuck shops, they usually charge an arm and a leg and the food's pretty crap. And on top of that, bring some spare food for your car as well in the form of some jerry cans of fuel, and also wouldn't hurt to bring some spare oil, coolant and that sort of thing also. And lastly, some personal care items like some sunscreen and even some spare clothes, because at the end of the day you kind of feel a bit grimy and dirty and it's kind of nice to change into some fresh clothes. And that's about it. My final words would be to always go to a track day with the intent of heading home safely. Avoid the mindset of attending a track day with the plan of winning. The right attitude will keep your car in one piece. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Please like and subscribe and share this video with your mates. I'll see you next time. Ta.